So in this class we're going to be discussing introduction to web design, and then of course we talk about the basis of web design, elements and principles, and then design resource. Okay, so briefly, of course you can see web design is just the creation of certain identity for a company or a person. So it pretty much give you an online presence whereby you can run your business and then give you this kind of edge above your competitors, right? So what is a website? Basically it's a collection of files accessed through a web address covering a particular theme or subject and managed by a particular person or an organization. So basically you want to have everything about your organization collected in a single place, organized. The word organized means everything should be progressive, one at a time, and then to pass a particular information to your audience. And of course we have different type of website ranging from dynamic website and information website and all of the likes. So then the web design is the creation of these websites that we mentioned earlier, and then pages to reflect company and brand information, and then to pretty much user-friendly where people can go and then click, check up on what's up with your business and all of the rest. So you want your website to be designed in such a way that someone can come, check page by page. For example, about page, just like we have in this place here, you can see home, you can see about services and all of the rest. So this way organized in such a way that people can come and then by going to your website they can tell what you're about or what you do. Okay, so and then you must have heard about web development also. So we have website design and then we have website development. Of course there are a lot of differences or things that separate this particular two different terms. So when we talk about web development, that is, you want to code, program to build that structure, features, all of those things you are seeing will be code or program in any case. So before you can have that website developed, it has to be code. And then web design, it's usually talk about the user interface, the UI design or the user experience. Now before, when we talk about web design, it could mean that you are using the knowledge of graphic design to come up with web pages. For example, let's say you are using Figma, for example. Such web pages sometimes might not even be interactive. It might be interactive but might not be functional. What I mean is you might be clicking, it's going back and forth, but it's not really hosted or functional. That is web design. But over time there are technology that has now been invented, a lot of things coming up whereby you can now make web design such that it will even function and then perform the same thing that someone who is developing using coding, whatever they can do, you also can do with your knowledge of web design. So it has elude, or it's now more than just UI and the UX. It's now something that when you click is now functional, when you work is now functional. So as a very layman, you can also even design your website, charging ranging from, depending on your area, even 500,000, 400,000, 200k, depending on the kind of project you are working on though. So you can actually do much more now compared to before. So, and there are a lot of differences between web development and web design. I just decided to discuss this particular core differences because when you talk about development, it usually will involve coding, and when you talk about design, it usually will involve you to have a knowledge of web design, principle of graphic design rather, principle of graphic design and all of the likes. Okay, so we have some element and principle. Okay, so element, look at element as those things that come together to make up a website, or yes, a web. When you want to design a website, those things that come to your mind, that come together when you want to make up a website. For example, take your body as an example. Your body is made up of your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your leg, and all of those things. All of these are elements together forming a whole body. The same thing in web design, there are elements and there are principles. Now let me give a particular instance. Typography, talking about the font, the type of font you use in your design is an element. Now how does element and principle relate? The use of your typography, for example, there is header typography, and then there's subheading typography, and then there's body of your work. For example, let me refer to this. You can see here is an header talking about Konad Group. There is another thing under talking about subheading, and there is this body area whereby explaining what the company is about. So usually your ability to arrange some of these things in their particular order now makes it a principle. I don't know if you get it. So even though yes, typography is an element, but your ability to be able to use it, arrange it the proper way to pass the right message to whoever is coming or your prospect to your website, that becomes a principle, which means even though you have the element, you must also know how to apply the element. Let me give another example. Let's say you want to make an Indomie as very basic. You want to maybe get your Indomie, or what is it called now? You want to have your oil, for people who use oil for Indomie. You want to get maybe egg and all of that. You want to get the what is it called? Is it flavor? I don't know. All of these things you guys use for Indomie. And then at the end of the day, you want to combine all of these things. They are like elements that can now make your Indomie to be very, very nice. In an event where you have Indomie and then you have some of the ingredients that you have used before. Let's say you have 5 ingredients you have used sometime, you kept the 5 ingredients somewhere, but you want to cook one Indomie, then use 5 ingredients at the same time. At the end of the day, that Indomie will be a disaster. The same way with your elements in design or in web design. You must know how to apply them the proper way. Apply them such that everything is looking very minimal and accurate. Other elements, or I'll just choose to explain some of the elements from the one listed earlier, or in any case it could be element or it could be principle. Now, responsive design, this is a principle. So it is essential for your design or website to be very responsive. This means the layout and content adjust dynamically to provide an optimal view experience on different devices such as desktop, tablet, and then smartphones. What this means is your website should respond the same way to respond on system as the same way to respond on a smartphone or on a tab, as the case may be. Take for example, look at this view. You can see this website is shown to be displayed on website view and also on mobile view, and every one of them are looking very, very much accurate and nice. So you must make your design to be very responsive such that in any platform you get to, they are looking good. Okay, so now typography, again I'm going to explain that. You can see there's heading font, there's subheading font, and there's body font. So in any case, when you are to put a header, you don't go and put a subheading. When you're supposed to use body font, you don't go and use a heading font. So you should know the difference on how to organize your website and where to use whatsoever typography. And another important thing, there must be consistent typography. So because this will help you to create a professional appearance. When you are using a font, maybe you are sticking for your header font, maybe your header font is Montserrat bold, so you should stick to this Montserrat bold throughout your work for your header font. Maybe your subheader is Robuto or wherever, you should stick to that. That is what it means. So it should be consistent such that if someone is viewing your about page, is having the same kind of experience as someone who is viewing the home page, so that you don't get to header page and then you see the different vibe to what is on the home page. Another important thing is, if your body text is going to maintain 16, for example 16 font size, let this 16 font size be consistent throughout anywhere that there is a body text throughout your website. Okay, now you can see here, and then your website font will be able to adjust again automatically on different devices. We've explained that earlier. Now take a look at this picture for a moment. You could see this text is saying, hi, look to your bottom right, and of course this is your bottom right, but for some reason you are most likely going to look to your bottom left because the typography has been created to create a kind of feel of hierarchy. So hierarchy is what I've explained by the heading, subheading, and body. So in an event whereby body, which is supposed to be a supporting information to the heading, if the body is bigger than that heading, that becomes a disaster. Your viewer are most likely going to want to see the body before the heading. Why? Because the heading is not even looking like a heading. So the heading should be bigger, followed by the subheading, and then the body. Okay, now when you talk about color scheme or color and branding, when you are creating a website for a brand, you want to, first of all, after you've discussed the entire thing you want to achieve for them and all of that, you want to get their color, their brand color. Every brand do have their brand color. Take MTN for example, Glo and Airtel. If you hear Airtel, what comes to your mind? Red. If you hear Glo, what comes to your mind? Green. If you hear Etisalat, what comes to your mind? Maybe green and then maybe dark green also. Now the same thing with every brand do have their own color, so you should pay attention to getting the brand color. There are color codes. If they don't know how to do that, there's a way you can extract your color code by trying to bring them to your design environment and then use maybe an extension to pick your particular color. Some of these extensions you can use is what I have on my screen here. We have page color picker. You can install that as an extension on your Google Chrome. That will help you pick whatever color. If you just say pick and then you just go to the place and say pick, then it tells you the color code here, and then that color code in turn becomes what you use for that brand. Okay, so you have to pay attention to brand color. And an event whereby you are the one generating the color for the brand, you have to be careful what the brand is about and then interpret them properly to be able to give them a particular color. And then I would recommend that when you are creating a website, you shouldn't use more than 2 to 3 major colors. What do I mean? If you can see the entire display of this website here, you can see how that this color is just orange and then majorly blue, and then the other one is off-white. So this will create a kind of uniqueness, and then it creates a kind of consistency in the way you manage your color throughout the website. So it shouldn't be that you have color green at the top and shortly you have color red and then you have color blue, then you have color, you just have them mixed up everywhere. Your color, your website is going to look a disaster and not beautiful. Okay, so now look at the example here again. Here you can see this particular website here, both on mobile and on desktop, is giving you a kind of vibe of, oh, this is the brand that is being maintained. The same thing with this one. So you have to be very intentional about maintaining your color as you work on your website. Now on design resources. Okay, so design resources are like free tools that you can use online to make your design process very easier and also professional. Okay, so design resources or resource are some of those things you can get for free, maybe for free, and maybe you can buy some, but a lot of time you can get them for free. So those are the things you see online that can be used for your website design and all of that. And I'm going to discuss about maybe 3 to 4 of them in this particular video. Okay, on Splash, you can just go to Google and just type on Splash, or you go to the website provided on the presentation. Okay, so on Splash there are different categories. On Splash is a website that give you like access to a lot of images online. The internet, they give you the source for visual and images online where you can use for your business. So if you're working for a brand that are into maybe cake making, and then you want to look for whatever image you need for their cake stuff, you can search for cake picture or a lady making cake, for example, a lady baking cake. So if it's after this search, you are going to see a lot of images of people making cake. So you can use some of these image, for your brand. Sometimes you might need to specify. You can see different image of cake. You can see. Sometimes you might need to specify maybe black lady making cake, white lady making cake, because depending on your brand, if your brand is an Africa brand, you don't want to be found using a white picture for such brand, so it's going to be unprofessional. Then the next one is free pics. So free pics is also like on Splash, but I think it's more sophisticated than on Splash. On free pics you have access to vectors, you have access to background, you have access to icons, videos, even Photoshop designs and mockups, 3D fonts, and a lot more. So basically anything you are looking for, just come here and then search lady making cake. In this case, let me use black lady. You can see that it's going to give us a lot of, you can see black lady making cake, you can see a lot of them. So you can save the image by clicking them, and then it opens a more bigger image, and then you can see download, and under that you can see scroll down, and after you click download you can choose to download the image, small size, big size, large size, whatever size, or original size as the case may be. So you just download it, and then that can be used in your design. Okay, this kind of make your work more professional, and then create a kind of different vibe to your work like that. Okay, the next one is remove.bg. So remove.bg basically is used to remove the background of your image. So whenever you are creating design, you want to remove an image of a particular design, all you need to do is just bring that particular design, upload it, and then it will remove the background. So this can be used whenever you have a need. You can see the original, you can see the removed version, so you can download it from here and then save it back to your system. Okay, so the next one we have is Canva. Canva is a space or a web app that help you to create designs. You can use Canva to create different designs, but as it relates to this particular design for this particular class, we intend to use it to organize our images in an event whereby you have a website where you're going to display images. So it is better for you to come to Canva and create a particular size in pixels. You can see for this size, this one is 1005 by 1000 size. That is the size of this image, and you can see them one after the other. So all these images will be the same size throughout your design. Okay, and then the effect is going to make your design very, very much responsive and very, very clean. Okay, look at an example of a website I built recently. Okay, so on this website you can see all of these were first made on Canva and then downloaded. You could see this image is without a background before I put it on this particular place here. So you can see around it there's no background until it was put on this image. So this was made on Canva before uploaded to the website, and then all of these images too were their background were removed and then put on Canva, and they are selected suitable background that I wish to use, and you can see how neat everything looks on the website. So when you have image like that and you use Canva to arrange them, it makes your work very professional. In this case, maybe you want to use size maybe 800 or 500 by 500, and you create that size. So all you need to do is to create that size, and then after creating, you start putting your image to them page by page, and then when you are done, you save all your images. So by so doing, your images are going to be very much arranged in such a way that it's going to be the same size on the website. So there's no reason for one to be bigger than the other. Let me see if I can create an example of what I'm trying to explain. And look for images that their background has been removed or something like that. Okay, so you can see here, if I bring this guy here now, you can see this is an image of you can see then the background. I can decide to choose background color and then maybe make it near white or off white or whatever color I choose. I've saved that, and then I will add new page, bring in another device, another product. From here, maybe I'll make this color something like this. So remember, you must have removed all the background with your remove.bg before you come to this area. So like that. So if I have 20 images, I'm going to do them the same way and then choose a background for each of them. So you observe I'm choosing a background that is somewhere close to any of the color on the image. Can you see? So when you are done, once you are done with the whole arrangement and making your color and you are very okay with how they look, then you can now download them. These ones will be the same size because we chose 500 by 500 pixels when we are creating the design. So this will make your images almost equal in every aspect of your design. Okay, so the next one is ChatGPT, which I think will be the last one on this particular design resource. Okay, ChatGPT is an AI technology that helps you generate content, and you can use it for a lot of things, a lot of research and all of that. So it's very, very wide and very useful for your business. Okay, so in the regard of we are creating a content for or a website for a cake outlet. Remember, we've been using cake recently on this discussion. So maybe the name of the cake is maybe Dominant Cake, for example, Dominant Cakes, and then this is the name. And then I want to tell ChatGPT that okay, create a website content for Dominant Cake. Okay, remember, ChatGPT is not God, it doesn't know what Dominant Cake is about, so you want to go for that to tell them what they are into. So you might want to say they are into event, wedding cake, event cake, trainees, and maybe they are into maybe a birthday surprises. What just happened there? And maybe birthday surprises, right? Birthday surprises. And that is it. So you want to specify a little more what they are into. In some instance, you must even want to tell it more story than this, but you can just leave it like this and see the outcome. So ChatGPT will in turn provide some answer to what you are saying. Homepage, header, it's giving you an idea of how it should look like. Home, wedding cake, event cake. So it's trying to tell you how to arrange the website. Your gallery, it's trying to give you an idea of how it will look like. And sometimes ChatGPT can be very excess, so it's up to you to just take some of the things you want. And then I think it's not even getting what I wanted. I think instead of giving me the content, it's just giving me the arrangement, how it should look like. Okay, so it's not giving what I want. You can now see under About Us, generate About Us information. Now you don't need to put for dominant again, since you've mentioned it earlier. It's like a continuous discussion, so you just say generate About Us information. So you next is going to also get the information and then generate it for you. Welcome, you can say welcome to Dominant Cake, wherever, all those stories, our philosophy, our journey, craftsmanship, and all of the rest. So it's almost going to kill you with a lot of stories. Like ChatGPT is ready to give you a lot of stories, so it's up to you to just filter some of the things you need. So welcome to Dominant Cake, where artistry meets flavor to create unforgettable moment. Established with a passion for creating exceptional cake and all of those stories. You see, our journey at Dominant Cake, it is sweet tale of creativity. It's going to be very, very creative, the content, and sometimes you might need to filter what you want to filter for you to be able to get the best out of how to create your content. And then I would like to drop a disclaimer though at this point that ChatGPT can be very funny, and I don't advise that you use it for academic research, because it's going to mess you up, because when it's being checked, it's going to discover that you write it actually with an AI. Okay, so while using ChatGPT, you have to also be careful. And then another thing I will also throw a disclaimer is the fact that ChatGPT is not perfect. Sometimes if you ask a question and ChatGPT doesn't know it, it has a tendency to hallucinate or just give you a false content that is not even right. So that is where you have to prompt it rightly. When you're asking a question, you have to be specific about a particular subject you want to ask, such that it won't go out of line, and then it will give you an exact information that you're looking for. Okay, so yeah, I think this will be the end of this particular presentation. Okay, but I would advise that you create the following account, ChatGPT account, and then to get a Canva account, you can download it from Play Store or your App Store. And then I want you to explore ChatGPT, check out, ask questions, bring a particular subject matter, discuss it with it as though you are communicating, as we prepare to even go further on web design in this class. Thank you for listening.